let's dive on into the deep here. So, the deep to start with is a mechanic that says when your deck has 15 or fewer cards in it, I get bigger. And there are a number of sea monsters that have this effect that get much, much larger. So Devour a Depths is one of our pieces of top-end payoff for the deep. On play, it obliterates something with less health than itself. So when this hits deep, it gets even more powerful because then it has 7 health and can obliterate a wider range of things. Our 2 champions that we have in this deck are deep payoffs. So Nautilus levels up when you get deep and turns into a 13/13 giant monster that makes your other sea monsters cost less. And then we've got Maokai here, which is kind of an alternative win condition. So Maokai here says when your units have died or you've tossed 25 times, he levels up. And Maokai's level up obliterates everything except for 4 non-champions in your opponent's deck. So we had played this deck, this configuration deep before the last patch, and I really liked it. I would describe this build as a no-frills deep deck. Basically, we're playing all of the toss cards you could possibly play. Dredgers, Jettison, Thorny Toad, Dreadbloom Wanderer, Slaughterdox, and even Salvage, so we can get deep as quickly as possible, as consistently as possible. And then something notable here at the top end of our curve, the elusive deep unit is one that I've been pretty underwhelmed by. So Devourer, Nautilus, Shipwreck, and Maokai are payoffs here. And then the kind of flex slots in this deck that I think you can really play with are Grasp of the Undying and Withering Wail. I like this mixture of 5 interactive cards because they allow us to gain life, which is really nice. The way this deck goes big with things like Nautilus, Maokai, and Shipwreck Hoarder, I think means making these flex slots cards that help you not die to aggro, as opposed to other go big cards like Atrocity, means you're going to win more games that you otherwise wouldn't be winning. So let's go ahead and dive on into some games here with this and see how the deep feels this patch cycle. I like keeping tags on Runeterra, and you're the best I've watched doing it. Thanks for the compliment, Strange Journey. I really appreciate it. If you're new to my content in general, be sure to check out my YouTube stuff as well. I have one channel that posts almost daily deck highlight videos on the Hoaglandia Highlights channel. And then I have my other one, Jeff Hoagland, that posts absolutely everything that I stream. Opponent playing Leona Aesol here. So another go big deck. Honestly, I think I'm mulliganing everything except the Slaughterdox here. I think I'm looking for some of my cheaper toss units. Definitely don't want Withering Wail and Jaw Hunters. These are cards that help keep us alive against aggro, and they are almost assuredly not an aggressive deck. Yeah, Slaughterdox is kind of a deep payoff. That's fair. Dredgers. All in for high. Is it possible to play a Zoe Nautilus deep deck? I mean, you definitely can. The question there is probably if you should. Should that be a thing you're interested in doing? Opponent is likely a Plaza control deck, I would imagine. There's a few different of these Targon Demacia shells. Could be an Invoke deck as well. I take Zoe Nautilus as a build around. Let me think on that. Let's see. Let's wait and see what happens with the patch notes today. I want to Vile Feast this inside of combat, so that way they don't get a chance to heal it with the gem here. Really happy to be able to convert Vile Feast into a real card in a matchup like this. I'm going to go ahead and open on attacks here before they get to play a blocker. Definitely playing Slaughterdox here. You want to play Slaughterdox down as early as possible, because Slaughterdox has an effect at the start of each turn, so it gets to work sooner if you get it down sooner. This card is sweet. It's an enabler in that it helps toss us every turn, but then it's also a payoff because when it gets deep, it gives us a sea monster. If they pass here, I'm definitely just going to take the pass. Would you like to eat my spider? You get to burn. Oh no, they burned a mana. How will I ever recover? Do. Just playing Maokai here.
We'll follow you to the edge of
I think I'm just going to salvage here. I think it's important that I use my mana as efficiently as possible to get deep as quick as I can. We're at 22 cards in my deck. We'll go down to 20 next turn, so probably be pretty close to deep on our next attack. This is going to toss 3 for us, which is great. Perfect. Wonder if we'll see them open attacks here or not. I imagine not. Perfect. So we're gonna be deep on turn 7 here. I am playing Runeterra, and this is deep. So this puts us to 18 cards. This will put us to 15 cards. This will put us to 14. It's one thing to note about the toss mechanic is it explicitly does not toss champion cards. So even though they killed our first Maokai, there's a good chance we're going to find one of our second or third copy of Maokai here. Because we're explicitly leaving those better champion cards in our deck. This is one of the worst sea monsters we could hit there, and it's still just a 7/7. The water rises. Drawing a bunch of Grasp of the Undying here feels real bad, but it is what it is. These Jaw Hunters also give us some random sea monsters, so we're not anywhere near out of gas here, which is great. Yeah, the animation on Nautilus is really great. Because the art IP in this game is very well done. Poker face, poker face, my. Jujan, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel. I think I'm smashing into that, right? Forward.
Morning, take you.
Seventh Clover, good morning. Welcome, welcome. That's a biggin. That's gonna get to kill Naughty, huh?
Precious worth at least twice as much.
Max got the tracks. Good morning and welcome.
Blood and guts, golden glory.
So you're gonna have pretty solid open attacks next turn, huh?
Ours is the one true light.
I think I'm making a spider here. I think we're just passing. Hi, Everblark. Welcome to Hoaglandia.
Go and harvest it. No mercy for heretics.
If they hit Aesol before we hit Maokai, we could be in a bit of trouble. Or before we hit a Treasure Maker. 13 cards in our deck. Yeah, we could be getting Aesol next turn. I guess I did find the Treasure Maker off the Jaw Hunters. What are treasures? Either deal 5 to everything, summon 3 vicious plate worms, so a bunch of 8/8s, or create 5 random cards that are free. All fairly powerful effects. Great. There are 13 cards into their deck, so the odds that they have an Aurelian Soul next turn are very high. Two cards that win the game are a worse pack your bags. Yeah, the fact that this one's a real stinker. These two are great. This one's a real stinker. Alright, so they're guaranteed to have ace. You got it. Steer! Thank you for the 29 months. Welcome back.
Hello, Runeterra. Let's rock.
I think this is fine. I want to set up Grasp with this to kill this. Okay.
Now they'll pay attention.
Think I want to open attacks here. Yeah, that loses to Pale Cascade and Sharp Sight though, Logan. Okay, so our opponent has a copy of Judgment.
You must be very important.
Who's angry for action, eh?
Yeah, she's pretty unlikely to kill Aesol. Like, she strikes the weakest enemies, so there's a good chance they're gonna play something else out here. That being said, like, we have ways to pop his spell shield next turn.
The heady scent of fear.
It is a skill, so Spell Shield is gonna block Devour the Depths here. This bypasses Spell Shield. This does not.
The enemies of day will fall.
Who am I giving 2 extra points to? Probably just Jack. This is fleeting, so I gotta use it. Yeah, skills always have the circle. You mouse over it here. This is a skill that allows enemy reaction, so very clear communication there from the Runeterra folks. Human Beaver. Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the channel.
My, how they stare.
Okay, another one of those. Not a terrible pickup. And remember, like, we could draw Maokai at any point and obliterate their deck as well, which is great. Take my 0 mana plays here. I assume this is eating this, so might as well put the 2 on there. We're gonna wail to pop the shield on this. And then try and eat the space dragon. Really? Okay, sure. So spell shield stops just the part of the spell that would target this, so you technically still get a damage on this, not that it really matters. So this loses to Pale Cascade. This loses to single combat. They've already played a single combat. They've not played Pale Cascade. That was a created card, yeah. That was one of our, what's it called? One of our treasures. Part of our treasure trove. Man, who knew you could fit a cosmic? That really puts the size of this fish into perspective, chat. You can fit a cosmic space dragon up in there.
Give chase.
Da 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 da. It is a real card, yeah. It's not a real playable card, but it is a card that you could technically put into a deck if you wanted to. We've got 2 Nautilus and 2 Maokai and 9 cards, chat. Yeah, it's a card. I agree. It does not look like a real card because it's real unplayable. They just like want to hold whatever threats they have in their hand to challenge her with next turn. To die to that. It doesn't give itself overwhelm. Okay, so we grasp this firmly in our hands, and then we can devour it next turn. I mean, that's a random sea monster, technically, right? Two Mauk, 2 Nautilus, and 7 cards, chat. And, like, it feels like it's worth pointing out here how unlucky we've been this game, and, like, we're still competitive, right? Like, we're still, like, have a real shot here. If they have a judgment, they get to eat these 2. Okay, so this block here would imply no judgment, right? If you have judgment, oh, this can't block here because this is fearsome. That makes sense. Oh, all right, so we've been unlucky, and they had their best possible there. Treasure monster! Man, it burned a Sea Hoarder there. Come on, give me a Sea Hoarder. losing our treasure dork feels really bad. Their deck is in fact Greed Incarnate. That was an accurate summary of what they're doing. Casual 35 out of 25 Maokai. Obliterate!
These isles will be cleansed.
Will be cleansed. So they have 4 cards, I have 5 cards. So we just gotta not die to whatever their leftovers are. Come on! Come on! Where are my Nautiluses? Come on! That will toss one. It will. It will toss one because our deck right now is Maokai Nautilus. It doesn't toss a treasure. We've drawn both our treasures.
Protect our grove.
Oh no! Oh no!
To spread their leaves.
Oh. We just have to not die this turn, chat, right? Because they draw on our turn, and then... No, they're gonna get another attack step still, right? Yeah, they're gonna get another attack step still. Nautilus is leveled already. Are we dead to the Challenger Scout? That's not quite true, right? I can't afford to draw. I can't afford to draw a what's it called? I have to draw Nautilus this turn. Tal and Kill Iadia. Thanks for the follows. Welcome to the channel. I promise we're luckier than this some of the time. I would be surprised if there's more than Go Hard. Yeah, casting Nautilus's spell puts Riptide. Yeah, I don't actually know how this works. So like, I guess we're technically getting a sapling every turn. So like we're technically getting a sapling, but like this puts a card back in our deck and it puts a card back in their deck. I mean, we're not infinite at all. This only stuns enemies. I think we're just playing to the draw now, right? I think we're playing to the draw.
The tide rises.
I'm pretty sure we have to take the draw here. Which, honestly, with how unlucky we got in this set, like, I feel like taking the draw is a huge win.
A good scene on this one.
No! What a close game. Like, for how incredibly unlucky we got this game, it was really close. Thank you for the 1.5 years, Carafe. Really appreciate that. Welcome back. Yeah, if the Dread Bloom we draw had been one of our 2 treasure sea monsters, we would have won that game. In spite of the fact that all of our champions were buried at the very bottom of our deck. We were infinite if there was a stall because yeah, but that doesn't actually end the game, Beck. Because Nautilus's champ spell also puts a thing back in. New patch notes. The last 2 patch notes were posted at noon and noon 30 PST. If you don't believe me, go here and check the Runeterra news site. Unless that's localized, I don't believe that site is localizing the time for me. I'm pretty sure those are all Pacific times on that site. So the last 2 patch notes were posted at noon or later. Yeah, you too, Lapple. Good luck in the rest of your laddering today. I think I want Grasp against the Fearsome aggro deck. They don't have too many things that die to a deal 1. The rest of these seem fine. Oh, is it localized there? Okay, if it's localized, it should be 50 minutes then. It is localizing. Wow, what good technology. Look at me. I just assumed their technology was. I should probably just not do that with Riot, right? Sorry, chat. I've spent 2 decades dealing with Wizards of the Coast. I just assume technology is shit by default most times. It's taking some adjustment to get used to the technology not being shit. Am I murdering one of these? I think I'm murdering one of these. It's the most resource efficient play. I technically spew the gain 3 because your Nexus can't heal above 20, but I'm like not taking... It's like a wash, right? Because I'm not taking 6. Wow, that's brutal. So this is gonna die, but we're taking an 8-ball here now. Yeah, I wrote Cornfield time. CST, Cornfield Standard Time. I think we play this to start. I want to gain some life back here. Have a Fearsome blocker. That's a little bit of good beats we needed to maybe win this. I know that we're locked to win it, but if we're going to win, it starts with something like that happening for us. We take those, okay? Okie doke. Listen, chat. Did you not see how unlucky we got last match? Runeterra's, we're due for this, chat. This is our cumulative variance catching back up for us. All right, so what's our best draw next turn? Dredge Dredgers? I think Dredge Dredgers is the best draw. The 1-4 for 2 is our second best. This Twitch stream was pre-recorded in front of a live Twitch audience. Thanks for dropping in today. This is one of our best draws because it helps us get deep and it triggers Maokai. Stuff make happy. Let's just get our challenger on. Yeah, Lapple, but like your deck doesn't have any card selection. Like for multiple turns, my deck was more champions than non-champions, and I like still didn't draw champions. That isn't a big deal because of Whale. Although I suppose we know they have another Pale Cascade. This is gonna turn into a sea monster this turn. We're in the deep. This is like 2 games in a row where we hit deep on turn 7 with this deck, which is sick. This type is super consistent. Flush the toilet. The skill is a play effect.
The water rises.
Hey, Mose, thanks for the 14 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Feeling like we're in a pretty good spot here. All 3 copies of Wraithcaller. It is. The first 2 of them missed, though, so like... The fact that their Wraithcallers missed was definitely our saving grace here. They definitely played an Ephemeral off of Stalking Shadows. They've played 4 of these. They just bricked on 2 of them because we're very lucky. Obliterate!
Protect our grove. Grow tall. Grow strong.
I think I'm just doing this. I don't really want to attack into their Wraithcaller anyway. Them drawing a card's actually kind of good for us here. I basically just want to try and position myself to not be dead to Harrowing next turn. Okay. So, if we don't die next turn, we win the game. No, they get a draw. I mean, they have an attack token here.
Give them room to spread their leaves.
Okay. That's a good one too. I mean, even if they have Harrowing, right? I've got like Nexus Whale, and Riptide technically puts a card in their deck, but putting one card into their deck isn't a big deal because they'll draw that on my turn and then lose on their turn.
I tire of waiting.
Come closer. I don't bite.
Guess I technically should hit this. Doesn't really matter. Just have to not die, and they lose when they go to draw next turn.
And so, life springs anew.
Bye, friend.
The waters cannot be sated.
BT dubs for folks who are my regulars. I'm flipping my schedule tomorrow. So usually I do Runeterra first, and then I do Witcher 3 or a variety game after. I'm flipping that tomorrow, so I'm going to do Witcher for a few hours tomorrow morning, and then once the patch goes live with whatever balance changes we'll see today, we'll do Runeterra tomorrow afternoon. It seemed like a waste to, I think I keep the Slaughter Docs, mulligan the rest of these. I guess this attack was free. Kinda. Yeah, I am not expecting Lee Sin changes today, which makes me a little sad, but I understand reality.
I've got your back.
I think I just want to get Slaughter Docs down here. This card is, like I've mentioned, has a round start effect, so getting this going ASAP so it can work its way up is valuable. Opponent ordered their attackers wrong here, basically missing 2 points of damage. If they would have put this the other way, I wouldn't get to heal here. I agree. I hope if there's no Lee Sin changes today, I really hope there's communication about what the deck is doing and whether or not they think it's okay and why they think it's okay if they do. Alright, so we're down to 26 cards in our deck. We'll go down to 23 next turn. This will put us to 19. So we're going to be deep in like 2 more turn cycles here. Would love to draw a Jettison, Dredgers, or the 2-drop would be our best draws here. Because we can deploy those. We can deploy those in addition to salvage. Listen, Silence, they've been hurt before, okay? They know not what they say. Well, this is great for us. We get to go ahead and Vile Feast this here and kill that, which is nice. Wonderful. See the Sharp Sight out of them. Okay, so we're going to... Neither of these will trigger on our next turn, but with this getting played, these will both turn into sea monsters on their next turn, which I think is soon enough for us. We're looking to dodge Rally this turn, is what we need to fade. If we can dodge a Rally, we can dodge a ball.
And a long path to get here.
Not quite dead, right?
Lacking courage.
I have this.
Always forward.
Is there a Frostbite plus Hush deck you guys could recommend? I don't think you need Frostbite and Hush in the same deck.
Return me to the sea. Protect and strike.
I mean, we're not dead here, and we're getting 2 sea monsters next turn. So like, I'm not dead to open attacks. Boo shoes! With the 2 entire years of support. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Flush the toilet bowl. Flush it again. We had a floater. Had a hang along. Hey, Jacob. You want the other switch? Sure. Go. Sure. Have fun. Remember, be a good loser. Okay. This puts me to 1, right? I'm not dead yet. Good loser, what's that? That's a good point. I usually like to describe the things I'm talking about. For the card game players that are unfamiliar, being a good loser means that,
Blood and salt.
yeah, it means just don't lose. Get good. Get good, scrubs. All right, and then hopefully our Oblitafishes will let us push them down next turn. Yeah. And that was turn 7 deep again, right? What does being a good loser mean? It means don't try a coup when you lose. All right, I'm gonna use that one in the future. That's big 2021 mood. Don't try a coup when you lose. I wish I could upvote comments in Twitch chat, because I'd upvote the crap out of that one. Are we 100% for being deep on 3, by the way? Or being deep on 7, by the way, today? I think we are, right? Easy full mulligan here, looking for cheaper things. Man, we're so lucky, Goonie Boons, that like they were completely disorganized and didn't have a plan. One of my bigger, more paranoid concerns is that like foreign governments are going to see what happened at our capital, what a disorganized group of people did. And it makes me wonder if we're going to see other countries acting in bad faith, like looking to attack America because of how, yeah, they got like other foreign powers that want to hurt the United States, like gained a lot of information from that. I think I'm just opening attacks here. Yeah, they found live pipe bombs at both the DNC and RNC headquarters. all things considered, we were very fortunate with what happened on the 6th. There were a couple of things that could have broke slightly differently that would have ended in a lot of death. Like there were if you haven't seen the videos, there were multiple people in full tactical armor that brought zip tie handcuffs with them that were looking to take hostages had they been able to make it into the chambers where the representatives and the vice president were being held. There's videos of the people breaking into the Capitol chanting "Hang Mike Pence." And Mike Pence is a god-awful bigot and terrible human being, but I don't want to see him drug out of the Capitol and hung. The "it was Antifa" messaging is such BS nonsense. Like, if the people on the right actually believed it was Antifa that instigated that violence, they would be working way harder to identify all of the people involved in that, right? Like, if they actually thought it was the left, like, they would be working overtime to identify and turn in every single person in the Capitol. Because guess what? It wasn't Antifa, but even if it was, everybody that broke into the Capitol that day and was a traitor and part of that coup, I don't care what they politically identify with, they should be tried with sedition, and they should be treated as a violent state actor, because that's what they are. Jujan, thank you for the brand new tier 1 sub. I really appreciate that. Welcome to the channel. Thanks for the support. I think we're just attacking them. Eat the trash. Technically good. I guess I should put these first, right? Because these are technically free eats for the butterfly. If I order my attackers a little different here, maybe we end up better off. Oh yeah, that's true. If I'm attacking with both, it ends up being about a wash. It's a good observation. I mean, I'm already deep here. Do I even deploy anything this turn? I might just take this pass. Yeah, I'm gonna play this. Worth noting we're deep on 7 again, though. To kill this. I agree. The music on this board is S tier. It's real good. Am I slamming Nautilus down next turn, or are we just opening attacks? We might just be opening attacks. Before they can, like, concussive palm and deploy stuff. There's still a few turns off of leveling this, so, like, I'm gonna have a window to do these. Yeah, I think I'm gonna open attacks here. And see what they do. Yes! The people at the Capitol that literally defecated, they literally shit on our Capitol. They urinated and crapped in the chambers. Like it's just like it's unreal. Just like literal animals.
The spirit gives to those who listen.
Actually shitting on democracy. Oh, it's funny, but it's sad. Alright, second verse, same as the first, a little bit louder and a whole lot worse. And then they went back to work, like, get shit on, that's another Wednesday, time to legislate. Yep. I don't think I'm Riptiding here. I still have one more turn till she levels, and this Riptide is actually another Nautilus. So I think I want to Jawl Hunters here, and then we'll play this next turn as my first play. I think is the plan, so I don't really have stellar attacks here. So we'll do this, which makes Devour cost 2 now. And then we can Devour their Karma before we smash. Would really like to find a Maokai. Maokai is just like, no more BS. Your deck is obliterated. You have a real small window to win.
No.
Yep. They don't have blockers for Nautilus at the moment. That is true. I assume there's a concussive palm in Nautilus's future. Da 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 da. I did see that, Keysmith. Okay. Thank you.
What is gained when we return malevolence?
The answer lies within. Ionian speaks through me.
So, I think we slaughter docks and then terror over this. It's a really good finisher to have generated. It's been 3 months since I stopped in. I hope you and your family are well. Thank you for the 14 months, Silliest Putty. Yeah, we're doing as well as we can. Given the state of the world, my family and I are doing well. We are fairly fortunate, all things considered. Thank you for the support. Make sure you've got a sword for while you're here. Equinox is real good here. If we're really lucky, the Slaughter Docks is going to generate another Terror of the Tides. The good news here is, like, our opponent's not anywhere near killing us. So, like, we've got a bunch of giant monsters we're going to have to block. Okay, Moonsilver made something in their hand cheap. Cheap. Hashtag sometimes lucky. Hashtag sometimes lucky. I suppose they're a hush deck. Am I supposed to attack here? Most of my things keep fearsome, right? I think we just open attacks so that way we can wipe the attack off of these things, right? There's a good chance if I play this it just gets denied. All right, we've hit a lot of really good called shots so far today. So I'm gonna try and use. I've never done this before, chat, but I'm gonna try and use my called shot powers for good. Donald Trump's gonna get impeached again this week. That's me putting some positive vibes out into the atmosphere. I'd also accept next week. No, I'm greedy. The point of the called shot is to be greedy.
I see every move.
Come on, chase me!
The protests in Portland were much worse. That's a take. Runeterra now has lands? Don't come on now. I'm trying to have a good day. The police response certainly was. Yep. Zoe now costs 5. Oh no. Please nerf something from Lee Sin. Zoe now costs 2 mana. A finger on the monkey paw curls.
What is gained when you return malevolence?
Gogi, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel. Is it too aggressive to devour this? Actually, I think I'd rather devour this, right? Just try and kill their blockers.
The depths take you.
Patch notes usually go live in 20 minutes. Bang. Bye, friend. Hey, look at that. Our opponent's experience with Zoe Karma is very similar to our experience yesterday. That deck's really mediocre. Does not feel like it has appropriate control deck tools. This deep deck is great, by the way. I think this deep deck is super underplayed. For reference. I think this build specifically felt really good last time we played it and felt really good again today. I think a lot of people are doing things with the deep that make it too cute. Not having a bunch of clunky cards like Atrocity. Just like all business, get deep as quickly as possible. Feels real reasonable. Honestly, all of these cards seem kind of great here. Maybe this isn't good. I'm gonna keep these 3. We did beat Scout Sauce. I don't know what TWF stands for, Jujan. What's that acronym? You mean Twisted Fate? If you're referring to the deep variation of Twisted Fate, I think they're much worse than what this deck is doing. I think Maokai being an alternative win condition is really important. Generally speaking, you want to wait to play Jettison to the last possible second. That being said, you will play it proactively if you're going to be losing mana. But this is a burst spell, so unless you're going to be burning mana, there's really no reason to play it out proactively. This deck is effectively Tron player. Yeah, I think that's accurate, Obtuse Hobbit. I think the way a lot of people have built this archetype, they've built it very poorly.
Will bloom again.
The number one comment I get from people when I post this deck list is, you should be playing Atrocity, and they don't like the Grasps and the Whales. because they have no respect for aggro and they just want to get dumpstered by it and complain about it. Having things like Vile Feast and Wail and Grasp give you a lot of play in the aggressive matchups. I also don't think Salvage is super commonly played last I looked at these archetypes. And this card, this is again going to be another game where we're deep on 7, right?
Lady has her secrets.
I'm just passing for now and seeing what they do. They're definitely attacking.
Purity and peace.
This is mercy.
My gun does the talking.
See if they have a sharp sight here or not. If they don't have sharp sight here, this surviving means I get to hook this next turn, which sounds really good. With a single combat, maybe they're thinking about using. If they single combat like this here, this will level up, and then if this levels, it gains an extra toughness. So if they kill this with single combat, interesting. Okay, I'm kind of surprised they didn't do this here to save this. Well, so like, here's the thing though, Tawaz, like. Even if an investigation shows that there was no issue with the police response at the Capitol, which I'd be surprised if that's the case, but to suspend my disbelief for a moment and say that's the case, the other part of the fundamental problem with what happened at the Capitol on Wednesday was that it appears from the things that I've read that the DOD and other non-Capitol police institutions were prevented from being proactive. Like, they expected things to happen there, and they should have been more prepared, and they were hamstrung from being more prepared.
Death follow me, or peace.
We investigated ourselves and we found nothing wrong was done. Yep, big police energy. The Post just broke a story that the FBI had clear evidence this was gonna. Yeah, I mean, we all had clear evidence it was gonna happen. They were posting all over Twitter, chat. They were organizing it publicly. Alana Lowe, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel. Easy round in here. If you're new like Alana Lowe, in case it hasn't been made apparent by the discussion for the last little bit here, I am what you would describe as aggressively progressive, and we talk about politics on stream occasionally. Not all the time, but more so the last week since there's been a lot of bullshit going on in the United States.
Nautilus on our side. We're invincible!
Correct.
We're invincible! That is an ambitious challenge.
Purity and peace. Do not fear, John.
Down. Here's the best piece of advice I can give you if you're a normal human being that's struggling with doom scrolling recently. Give your significant other or your friend, have them change your Twitter login and remove the social media platform from your cell phone. If you don't want to give it up altogether, I understand that, but take it off your mobile device. Having to physically go to a computer to doom scroll changes a lot. Just take it off your mobile device.
Corruption everywhere.
I intentionally do not have my Twitter logged in on my work computer or my cell phone. I still use my Twitter, but it's only logged in a browser on a computer on my main floor. Gnome, thank you for the 2.5 years. It's a really long time. I appreciate you dropping off the Prime again. Welcome back.
Feast soon enough. The depths take you.
Why is double attack not an attainable keyword for Zoe? That's actually going to be changing here soon. One of the Runeterra devs had mentioned that they're going to be changing that to make it more consistent. Adding it to their keyword pool.
Blessed vengeance.
Zoe grants keywords, Nivik. She can't currently share double attack though.
Dive deeper.
So, putting the life linker last, like I did, forces my opponent to block a little bit differently. Right? Or did I count that wrong? Because they're technically at a lower life total when these are happening, because they need to not die before they get to the life linker. And them gaining 3 extra doesn't really matter.
Tire of waiting.
This is not a game of inches, it's a game of miles. I don't think Bile feasting the challenger unit matters. I think I'd rather obliterate their deck this turn. I think I'd rather get rid of all their Hekarims. Sans ones that could be in their hand, obviously. Like, we're obliterating their deck, their life total doesn't really matter. Also, like, my units are huge, their life total doesn't really matter. Harrowing really does not seem impressive here. Yeah, I agree. They must have drawn Harrowing off the top, right? I feel like if they had Harrowing, they wouldn't have played the second Plaza last turn. I agree. I think Harrowing kind of shows a misevaluation of what the opponent's archetype is looking to do. I think in general, the opponent's archetype would rather be more aggressive as opposed to having cards that go big and long. Not does survive this. I wonder if they intend to rally this turn. Because they didn't attack with these in their ephemeral, right?
Won't get away this time.
It's like, okay, you're gonna kill my Nautilus, but like, you know, this shouldn't be attacking, right? Oh, this is gonna hook Maokai? No. But this still eats this, right? So this shouldn't attack.
I'll sleep when they're dead.
It happens when you run out of cards, you lose the game. It's just like Magic. When you go to draw a card but can't, you lose the game.
See how handsome I do?
I can afford to draw with this, right? I believe so. I'm at 4 cards, they're at 2.
Shadow approaches.
Hey, Isabus, thank you for the tier 2. I really appreciate the, I really appreciate 33 months. It's a long time. Welcome back. So, plenty of blockers, and they're gonna deck before they get another attack step here. And then we burn their rally by killing their thing here as well.
No room for doubt.
The light flickers.
Sounds good, Zerg.
These waters are mine.
Mine. Honestly, I probably should have just passed there, right? I guess I could technically have a rally here, right? But if they don't kill us here, they just lose the game. Da 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 da. Bye, friend. They're primarily a mill deck. About primarily mill. I think we've won about a similar number of games with Maokai as we have with Nautilus. This deck just has 2 separate, very proactive game plans that feel good while also having a smidge of interaction. All right, if we assume patch notes are going to go up at exactly noon, maybe let's go ahead and wrap on this deck. Actually, I like wrapping on a high note. I like this list a lot. It's actually, this list isn't on my website, Socio Penguin, but I think I'm gonna add it up there. I think this deck's really sweet. I think it's a good one to recommend to people. The play patterns of this deck feel very unique compared to a lot of other play patterns of decks in Runeterra, and I think it's really sweet for that reason. Both the deep mechanic and Maokai's alt win by milling people out. I consider this mid-range. I think I would consider this a control deck. I don't know. The line between mid-range and control kind of blurs and is arbitrary in some instance. I think I would classify this as a control deck though. And like I said, I'm pretty happy with this list. The things I kind of consider flex slots are these 5, but even that I'm honestly not sure. I think the basic theory with how this deck is constructed is Nautilus, Maokai, and Shipwreck Hoarder. All of these cards allow us to go over the top of our opponents very consistently. So having cards like Grasp, Whale, and Vile Feast that help make it so our opponents can't get under us feels very good. The Dredgers, Jettison, Thorny Toad, just having everything cheap that tosses feels good. We were deep on 7. We played a 7/7 or we played a 13-13 Nautilus on 7 so many times in that set, and that's basically what you're looking to do. You're looking to get set up as quickly as possible and start slamming your bombs down. So I think if you're looking to play the deep, you like this archetype. I like this build a lot. We played this build last month and it felt good, and I think I'm going to commission a banner to get this thrown up on my website. If you're new to the channel, like Alawir and Maokai there, welcome. And you haven't seen my website before, jeffhoagland.com. I've got this Runeterra Dex page broken up by archetypes, and you can click into any of these to see my current deck list for that archetype, as well as a short highlight video of me playing it. I play a ton of Runeterra here. Usually we play 2 to 4 decks almost every single day of the week, and I have this highlights channel on my YouTube where I take the best of those decks, and every single day I post a 20 to 30 minute highlight video where there's a deck tech, a wrap up, and then some best games showcasing how it played there. Yeah, it tells you how much it costs to build the given deck, etc. if you don't have any of the cards in it already. So lots of great things up here if you're looking for a place to find some deck lists that are competitive and sweet. Like here's my version of Ephemerals, etc. Yeah, the Scargrounds deck is sweet. Like that one a lot. All right, we're just gonna hang out for a minute or two.